Hi, welcome back. My name is Cole,
And I'm Andrew.
and this is CTRL-AC.
CTRL-AC is the podcast where we ring in the new year with color-changing cars and more hurts than you know what to do with. We are back. It is 2023.
Sorry for the month wait.
We haven't talked to y'all since last year.
Funny joke.
Get it? Anyway, new year, same CTRL-AC. We had a pretty amazing year. We've been doing this for, what, six months now?
Mm-hmm.
So we met our listens goal just before New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool. Thanks to everyone who has listened in the past 6 months. Also, thank you to The Complete Backyard, who are continuing to sponsor us. Okay, so a lot has happened over the break, starting with an update from one of last week's stories. So last week we talked about ChatGPT, the scary, powerful AI model that answers pretty much any question.
Literally anything.
So this is from AI Breakfast. Breaking news from the land of paywalls. Microsoft, OpenAI's biggest investor, plans to integrate ChatGPT into Bing search by March of 2023.
Yeah, apparently Microsoft already has plans in place for DALL-E 2 integration through the Bing image creator.
So Bing is actually going to be decent.
So Bing isn't good, it's just okay. If it was like it's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Compared to Google.
Yeah. It doesn't give you everything that you look for. So like if you look up YouTube, it'll give you some like articles about YouTube. It won't take you to different YouTube links, right?
Yeah, especially when you try and
Like get something
Google.
specific.
When you try and search for Google stuff,
Ugh.
it doesn't like that.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT is now integrated into Bing search. So I guess that would mean that when you search for something on Bing, like if you search for something on Google, you have that little search box that comes up that just pulls text from an article.
Yeah.
Would ChatGPT just write you that little box?
That would be pretty interesting. Different every time.
I guess so. Wouldn't that lead to inconsistent information though?
If it was good enough, then no.
Because right now, ChatGPT for some things has given me different dates. Like
Yeah.
to try something, I typed in like what was the Civil War, and it gave me 2 different dates.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not crazy consistent.
Well, I mean, the Civil War spanned throughout multiple years, so like.
Yeah, but it said like it started this date.
Mm.
So that's kind of concerning.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then DALL-E 2 in Bing Image Creator is huge, actually.
That's really cool.
So then you just kind of type in whatever you want to see and it generates it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of neat. So
That's
Bing
kinda
is
neat.
now actually a competitor.
Maybe.
And this is also interesting because we've heard rumors about an Apple search engine coming out. So Google may have some competition. Also, it would have to be way faster than ChatGPT currently is.
Yeah.
Because it takes like a good, 20 seconds to get a fully generated answer? Like, depending on the question. But like 20 seconds to a minute sometimes. So you'd need it in like a quarter of a second.
And Bing is already slow, so like.
And ChatGPT already uses so much power. Like, I think the Vergecast had a segment where they talked about like the in-depth details of ChatGPT. And they basically said that it uses 1 GPU per like word. It was like that GPU intensive. So poor AWS is just getting destroyed by now
For real.
millions and millions of ChatGPT searches every few hours.
Yeah, ChatGPT rarely works for me. Like probably like 4 to 6 times out of 10 it works.
It also reportedly costs them $3 million a day to run. So I wouldn't be. So I guess this pays for it. Microsoft acquiring them. But whoa, what if like Bing Plus was ChatGPT? No one would pay for that though. I don't know. We'll have to see. This has a lot of potential though. Keeping with the trend of AI, we're just going to briefly touch on this. Apple Books launches AI narrated audiobooks. So it says it makes the creation of audiobooks more accessible to all. So basically, if you're a smaller author, you can have AI read your books for people and everyone can have audiobooks.
which is like what's it called? Is doing with like I've seen a bunch of like Snoop Dogg can read the Bible ads.
Right.
So it's like that kind of.
So now you can like pick what kind of voice you want to read you the book, which is actually pretty cool.
It is cool.
Audible needs to jump on this and make this like another premium version of their service, because that's really cool, being able to choose your voice.
It is.
I don't listen to a ton of audiobooks.
They know me either. I think I've listened to maybe one or two, like ever.
Yeah. But I know people who do, and they would probably pay for this. Okay, 2 more smaller stories, and then we'll get into the good stuff. Tesla Model S and Model X are actually getting a steering wheel.
That's crazy.
So we saw the refresh in 2020. Model S long range, Model S plaid, Model X long range, Model X plaid, and all of them have a yoke. It was super controversial, and then the reviewers got it and they were like, "Oh, it's weird at first, but you get used to it and it's good." But for $700 extra, you can get an actual wheel in Model S plaid.
Yeah. So, okay, one thing I've always had a question about is what is it like if that's like your first time driving a car with a yoke?
I think it'd be normal. Like, you wouldn't be used to a wheel. So
But
then
you
it'd be
can't
fine.
let the wheel slide through your hands like you've seen your parents do for years.
No, you have to like stick your hand out, let go of the yoke, and then let it like spin around and hit your hand to stop it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But
Or
and
if
then
you like guide it.
yeah, and it still has the touch capacitive buttons like for turn signals.
That's kind of cool.
I don't know. Everyone who's driven it said that's like the worst part, because
Really?
there's no stock. You have to like hit the button with your thumb.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you already have a Model S or Model X, you can actually just get the wheel for $700.
That's cool. When was this released actually?
The cars or
The
the wheel?
Wheel.
Just yesterday. I think we're recording this on Friday, so I think Thursday.
I could have sworn I just saw on Instagram a Tesla with a steering wheel.
You probably did.
I'm sure there's aftermarket options
Yeah.
because there is for any car.
Ugh,
But-
I feel bad for all the aftermarket body shops who did wheels for people on their
And then
plaids.
this.
Yep. And then last little small story we'll touch on. There's a new wireless charging standard that could actually bring MagSafe to everything. So basically, there's this thing called Qi, it's spelled QI, and it's a wireless charging standard. So if you hear Qi charging, it just means you set your phone on it, charges your phone.
And it's bad.
Yeah, it's an industry standard. It's not great. It's slow. I mean, it's fine. Apple is basically introducing a new standard called Qi 2, QI and then 2. It includes an array of magnets. So, Samsung and Apple are both expected to start making Qi 2 certified products, which means that Android phones would now get MagSafe.
And is MagSafe compatible with Qi?
Yes, because MagSafe is just a Qi puck with magnets around it.
So
Qi 2, though, includes magnets. So it's like a whole new standard. So all phones should have MagSafe magnets now.
Is Qi? Do we know if Qi 2 is gonna have the same spec as MagSafe?
Yeah, there's nothing on speed right now.
Okay.
Because I guess that depends on the phone. But that's actually really cool. Because now all MagSafe accessories will just work with all phones, which is really nice to see.
It is. Especially because of everything proprietary Apple's been doing for like the past 15 years.
Yeah,
with
saw
every
them
phone ever.
We saw them kind of like monopolize the lightning cable. So it's kind of nice to see them open up
and
MagSafe.
the 30-pin connector.
Yeah. So them opening up MagSafe is actually a really big deal.
That is a big deal. Apple's finally, and this isn't really in the script, but one thing I want to talk about is like Apple's doing a lot of, I don't want to say good, but good. Like right now.
Yeah, they have completely turned the company around starting in 2019.
Like everything that they've complied with from the EU and
Yep.
like everything else, like they've handled it really well. We all thought we were going to see just wireless charging on the 13 and 14 iPhones. But they both have Lightning, obviously. But they thought we were going to see it again on the iPhone 15, just wireless. But iPhone 15 is probably going to have USB-C.
Complying with EU standards. We're going to get
standards.
side loading. And then starting in 2019, their whole product category changed around.
Yeah.
So forever, like iPhones up to the 10s were good. They were solid phones, but they were not close to industry leading.
Mm-mm.
With the iPhone 11 Pro specifically, Apple kind of gave us everything we wanted. Thicker phone, bigger battery, much better cameras. It was a really good phone. That same year, AirPods got an update with noise cancellation and better sound, put them towards the top. The 16-inch MacBook Pro got an update that kicked out the butterfly keyboard, gave it smaller bezels, all that stuff. And then 2020, we got M1. 2021, we got the
14 and
greatest
16 inch
computers
MacBook Pros.
we've seen in a decade. I mean, their whole company has kind of been turning around. I think there's a lot of debate between whether they're better with Tim Cook versus Steve Jobs. I think 2023 Apple is better than it was with Steve Jobs. It's a completely different feeling company.
Yeah.
But yeah, MagSafe on everything is going to be really nice, especially like when all tripods just have a MagSafe ring,
Yeah.
and then anyone can pop their phone on there.
That'd be so cool.
That's going to be nice. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and then when we get back, we're going to go over a bunch of Apple leaks for 2023.
We need more ways to like make your home look better and function better.
I have an idea.
What?
Have you heard of the Complete Backyard?
No? What's that?
The Complete Backyard is a outdoor living space design company.
So they can like build an outdoor like pergola, fire pit, like a whole area.
Yeah, they can build pools, pergolas, fire pits.
Well, what I want is a kitchen though.
They can build outdoor living spaces, which includes outdoor kitchen.
Oh.
So like a grill, a stove, fridge.
Okay, I'm gonna call them. How do I contact them?
To request a consultation, you can go to thecompletebackyard.com.
Cool, thanks.
Link in the description.
Okay, so there were a bunch of Apple leaks that happened over the past couple days, weeks. The first one's kind of crazy. So there's a patent that Apple has filed that describes an Apple Pencil with a variety of sensors built into it that basically can sample real world colors and textures.
This is actually really cool. A little while ago, maybe like a couple years ago, I think, I saw something. It was a startup that basically was this, but it was an actual pen that detected colors with a little sensor. Turns out it was a big scam, but like this is literally it's not like it has to put out a color. It's just scan a color, give it a code, and put it on a screen. This
Yeah,
is
it's
much
just
more doable.
recognizing a color
Yeah.
and then just drawing with that color. But artists could basically just tap their pencil on a real world surface and then just draw with that color.
Yeah.
So that's so if you're like recreating a painting or something, you just tap it on the color.
Yeah.
The textures thing I don't really get because like the iPad can't replicate textures.
Well, like if you scan like a carpet and it like recognizes the carpet, it could do like a staggered like in like density.
Oh, okay. So it could like draw sort of like a carpet look.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I would never use this, but like the tech part of it's really cool.
It is cool.
Okay, and then Apple Watch Ultra. We've talked about this before. I think we've both come to the conclusion that Apple Watch Ultra is huge. It's a
crazy.
little too big to daily as a watch. So it's gonna get a larger display.
Yeah, because
So
it needs that.
in 2024, it's going to get a 2.1 inch display, which is just a really big screen on your wrist.
That is massive.
The current Apple Watch Ultra has a 1.9 inch display, and this is 2.1. So what is this, like 52
0.3.
millimeters?
0.3 inches more.
54 millimeters. This is a huge watch.
Yeah. Massive.
It will also be the first Apple product to have a micro LED display,
Which is giving us hope.
which is really cool. So, for those who don't know, a lot of screens that you look at, probably the majority of screens that you look at are LCD displays, meaning they have a whole backlight and then the pixels change color on top and they're lit by one big backlight.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have OLED, which means that each pixel is self-lit, so the pixels not in use can just turn off and you have perfect inky blacks.
Yeah.
Then you have like a hybrid called mini LED. And that's what you see on the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros. That's what you see
local dimming
on
zones.
some TV. It's just a bunch of local dimming zones, which is good.
So like every let's say 8 pixels shuts off or has individual lighting.
Yeah, I think there are 100 or so local dimming zones on the 14-inch MacBook Pro.
Mm-hmm.
But so that gives you those inky blacks, but the problem is you get blooming,
Mm-hmm.
which is where you see a halo of light around the pixels in use. Micro LED is just even smaller mini LED pixels. So you almost get OLED without actually being OLED.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty new screen technology.
It is.
Debuting on the Apple Watch. So that's kind of weird. It's supposed to have better battery life in case the 3-day battery life wasn't good enough. So, yeah, we'll get a bigger Apple Watch Ultra for those who think the current one just isn't ultra enough. And then iPhone 15, there are a ton of leaks and rumors about that. I think we've talked about the button thing before. It's rumored to have taptic buttons. So instead of real buttons, it'll just have spots that you press and it'll vibrate.
Yeah.
And you'll get a simulated click. I don't know how I feel about that because I don't know how it's going to work with cases.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to go through the case. And then we should get more RAM and a titanium frame. Just like Apple Watch Ultra. So
Yeah.
iPhone 15 will have titanium. I guess that's fine. I use a case, so I won't be able to throw my phone on the ground and see the titanium in use, but should be fine. And that's kind of it. So should be an interesting year for Apple in 2023.
Speaking of more new tech in 2023,
CES.
CES, baby.
The Consumer Electronics Show happened in Las Vegas. Every year in January, we see it, and we see all the craziest new vaporware that will never ship to any consumer.
Samsung Arc.
So
that actually happened though.
Yeah, we have 4 big stories that we're going to touch, but a lot of stuff was announced at CES. We got 3D displays.
That's pretty cool.
There are literally laptops now with 3D displays where you don't need 3D glasses. It just comes out of the screen.
So it's like the original 3DS, but
yes,
better.
I can't wait to watch
on your laptop.
I can't wait to watch Top Gun and have jets fly past my head. That'll be really cool. But we got a lot of display tech, including a very interesting Alienware monitor. So let's just go through the specs.
Okay, hold on. Before we do that, if you play on console, you're used to 30 to 60 FPS.
Which is fine.
Which is
standard.
Fine. It's average. I play on PC. So I'm used to 120 plus. My monitor goes to 240 hertz, which is
240 hertz is a lot of hertz.
Yes, it is. That's how many frames per second you can view on that display.
That's not enough for some people.
Some people
they need
insist.
They need 360. So some monitors go to 360 hertz, which is a lot for your PC to push out, especially at any over 1080p resolution. So 360 is pretty demanding. There are some laptops with 360. That's kind of peak refresh rate.
That's peak, right? That's maxed out.
You can't really notice much of a difference past 360. That's kind of the best.
But some people, such as myself, insist on 500 hertz.
So now we have a 500 hertz display. It's from Alienware. It's a 480 hertz panel that overclocks to 500. It's a 24.5 inch screen. You can only do 500 hertz at 1080p, and that's only over DisplayPort 1.4, not HDMI 2.1.
Yeah.
So yeah, no one has a PC that can push out. Well, I guess at 1080p they can, but
I can push out 500 FPS in some
at
games.
1080p.
Yeah. Or it's even 720p.
This is the definition of overkill.
If I have an RTX 3070 playing Minecraft with no mods or shaders, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Easy 500 FPS. But if you have something like me, I have a 1070 playing Apex, I barely get a little over 100. Which is still quite a bit. It's nice to play.
And we'll also say you can notice a difference between little frame rate increases like primarily below 144.
Yeah,
Like 30 to 60 is huge. 60 to 75 even is huge.
it's a lot.
Anything below, and then you get past 120 and it kind of comes down to your eye. The difference between 360 and 500, I really don't think is going to matter to most people. Like it's just going to be ridiculously smooth.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So if you are that competitive where 360 hertz was just too stuttery for you, you have 500 now. I don't know when we're going to see this ship. It's at CES, so it may be vaporware. I really don't know. But eventually we'll get this. Esports Rocket League is going to go crazy.
Dude, for real.
At 500. And then the rest is a lot of car stuff. Ever since EVs kind of became a big deal, CES is sort of like half car show now. So Sony and Honda made a new car company. It is called Afeela, Afeela, created by Sony Honda Mobility. So it says the two companies aim to have an EV ready for the North American market by 2026, which translates into 2030 since it's an EV release date. It looks like every other EV sedan.
It does. It looks like the Hummer EV shrinked down and had a baby with Lucid Air.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
It looks sort of like it has Lucid vibes a little bit, like on the side.
Yeah.
But it has 40 sensors, radars, cameras, ultrasonic, LiDAR. There's a lot of stuff. It has enough tech to be considered an EV. Has a cool charging indicator thing on it. Steering wheel looks absolutely crazy, which is the mark of a good EV, I guess. And it looks fine. It's Sony, which is weird.
Yeah.
So it should have a crazy name and it should have a really good sound system.
So like their monitors, we'll get like
Sony car.
The Afeela Mars QX7004 7QXZ
Mark 1.
Mark 1.
Yikes.
PlayStation 5.
PlayStation 5.
What if they just integrated a PS5 into the infotainment like Tesla has?
Tesla basically has a PS5 in there.
Yeah.
I don't see why they couldn't. So what does Sony bring to a car? Great sound, noise cancellation. That would be a quiet
That
car.
would be crazy. Display tech, like
Great sound, good display tech. I want to see that micro LED infotainment screen. Other than that, I mean, Sony makes everything.
It's gonna be interesting to see, at the least.
I mean, again, this car seems great in a vacuum, but at this point, Tesla and Lucid exists in this price category. So we don't have a price yet on this. I would expect it to be like definite. What do you think? Like around 70, 80?
70 grand?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say.
I can't really tell.
Because we don't know any of the specs, so it's hard to tell.
For their first car, though, they'd try to price competitively. I don't know.
Does it have an OLED display on the front? Or is that just lighting?
Oh, I think it does.
That is funny. It does!
Yeah, there's a display on the front.
And as a yoke.
With a yoke wheel. Well,
it looks like, just viewing this picture, it looks like it has a lot of screen on the inside.
Yeah.
Like a lot of screen. It looks like next gen Apple CarPlay.
Oh. What's the relationship between Sony and Apple?
Have they ever worked on anything together?
I don't think so. I think they're kind of neutral. So maybe we will get next gen CarPlay. I don't know. It looks really clean. It looks like a stock EV concept.
Yeah.
But Afeela.
Interesting.
One to watch. And then we saw the electric Ram 1500. It's called the Ram 1500 Revolution. This thing is awesome.
It's pretty cool.
It looks like a sleeker Cybertruck. Does that make sense?
It does. That's a fair statement.
I just looked this up.
It
Ram
looks
Revolution.
like a less boxy Cybertruck.
Yeah. It's really hard to describe this truck, but it looks so awesome. The interior is crazy. It has a big screen in the middle that's like taller than it is wide, and then it has a crazy looking almost square wheel. And then the front has a ton of space. There are 3 rows of seating, and the seats are on like rail track things to
Yeah.
move them back and forth. The doors open up, like the front driver and passenger doors open like
Invertedly.
how they are on every other car. And
Oh.
then the back doors like open the other way. Like they open towards the right.
So I have a couple people who have trucks like that, but yeah.
So you have like a ton of room inside. And then the bed is kind of skinny looking, but you have a ton of rails in the back. You have the ram box on the side. And then the back, like if you're sitting in the back seat of the truck, that window behind your head, like under that, there's a giant door that just opens up. So if
Yeah.
you fold down the back seats, you can put something really long in the tailgate and it'll just go into your cabin, which is kind of interesting.
Another thing is interesting. It has a very, very oblong steering wheel.
It's the whole thing is just weird. It's very concepty.
It is very. It looks like something straight out of Halo. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it kind of does. There are a bunch of like orange and black lighting on the inside.
Orange seatbelts.
Everything looks like it's covered in Alcantara felt looking material.
Yeah, it has a heads-up display on the steering or on the steering wheel on the window shield.
Yeah. Screen looks good. This looks crazy.
Not gonna lie, pretty sick car.
We don't have a range number yet, but we do know it can add 100 miles of range in 10 minutes on an 800 volt DC
Yeah.
fast charger. So that's good. This should come out in 2024, which translates to what, 2026? Since it's an EV.
Basically, I mean, the Cybertruck's been delayed, what, 4 years now?
Yeah, we're supposed to see Cybertruck this year, and we already have Rivian and Lightning. Chevy Silverado EV is coming out, and this kind of finishes off the 4 big ones: Ford, Chevy, Ram, GMC. Yeah. So, and then performance-wise, again, we don't have numbers, but one of the designers of this truck said, quote, "Being electric, it'll put a TRX to shame in acceleration." So that's really promising. A Ram TRX currently has a 0 to 60 of 3.7. So I don't know what putting that to shame means on paper, but faster than 3.7. So I don't know. I think this truck looks really awesome. It's really gimmicky. It's like the most gimmicky EV I've seen in a while, but I don't know. It has a lot of potential, I think.
Final thoughts on the Ram, honestly. I think it's one of the best like implementations of an electric car, or not electric car, electric truck that we've seen so far. The Rivian seems very like it feels like a niche electric car.
And the F-150 Lightning was just, it looks just like an F1. A
It's
normal
no
F-150.
different. They just threw a motor in it compared to their engine. But this seems like a really good step forward in the electric vehicles industry. Speaking of the electric,
This is the coolest car feature I think I've ever seen. Also teased at CES, BMW has a color changing car. So it's called E-Ink, and it's a car called the iVision D, spelled D-E-E. It's an electric sedan that literally changes color.
yeah, e-ink is a really cool technology.
There are 240 e-ink paper segments, all which can be controlled individually. So you can just, the whole car can just shift colors.
You want black rims? Boom, you got black rims.
Like you can just change the car to like match what you're wearing, to match where you're going. It's like an accessory at this point.
Yeah, but
which
it's
is
ugly.
really cool. It does look ugly. Like this is an atrocious looking car. But a while back, BMW had like a gray, white, and black color changing SUV that just switched between those colors.
Yeah.
And I think that would be so nice because eventually you won't have to pick a color car. You just app on your phone and bam, there you go. but I like this a lot. I see how this could be a problem. So imagine a police chase with a color changing car. So like they radio in, we have a yellow BMW, and you just change to blue. How's that gonna work?
It's not.
When you have to register the color of your vehicle,
Yes.
how do you register this
All
car?
of the above.
All of them. Like whenever you fill out a form and it's like color of your vehicle, all of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the world is ready for this.
I don't think it is either.
I sure am though. I love this. And you can do like different panels. Like you can have different panels be different colors. So you can just put like a stripe down your car whenever you want.
I don't really like it like at all.
The color changing tech or the
No,
car?
The car. The tech is cool, but the car is just ugly in general.
Yeah, I think the tech was more of the thing they're showing off rather than the car.
Yeah. It's really cool tech.
I really
If
hope.
we saw something like a Mustang with this, it'd be sick.
I
Honestly, if you look at the pictures on theverge.com, it looks like a Challenger, but thick.
Yeah,
Like
a
thick boy and
thicker boat.
squished. Like, look at this.
Yeah, it's ugly looking.
It is ugly. I don't like it.
But the color changing though.
It seems like something the Cybertruck would, like, be parked next to.
Yeah. This and the Cybertruck part next to each other.
They'd both look like they're from the same company.
Yep. I would say Cadillac. No,
Is the
who
Ness.
would be the first to adopt this after BMW? Maybe Cadillac? I don't know. I feel like Mercedes or Cadillac.
Yeah.
This may become an industry standard. This may be completely vaporware. We really don't know. Almost everything at CES is. So take all of this with a grain of salt. So that's the future. CES is all about the future of tech, and there you go.
Yeah.
500 hertz displays and color changing cars. And then we saw a laptop that has a second display that just flips above it.
Yeah, that was interesting.
We saw Odyssey OLED G9. So it's another 49-inch monitor, has a 32:9 aspect ratio. So we have that. So yeah, the future is bright. The future comes in any color you'd like.
Yeah. So 2022 was a crazy year, and starting 2023, we're already off to a good start here with all the EVs that are being
I would
dropped.
say we are, but we're also never going to see these things.
Yes, but like it's a good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, Sony showed off a car several years ago. It never happened, and they were like, "Hey, we need help from an actual car company." Now they have Honda, so we'll see if Afeela can do anything. So that'll do it for episode 24. Welcome to 2023. Should definitely be a good one.
It's gonna be a good year, guys.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you work for Afeela and would like to sit down for an interview
And send us a car.
and send us a car, you can tweet at us on the platform with
The freest.
the very freest of speech, Twitter. I'm at Utterly Drew,
And I am at Cole WW Webb.
and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.